With the first 5-minute rebuttal, Dr. Michael Shermer.
We having fun yet? We're all going to hell, you know it. All right, a couple of things here. The greatest scientists were all religious or theists. Well, so what? The greatest scientists in Newton's time, and Copernicus's time, and Kepler's time also believed that most disease was caused by bad air. They were wrong. Most of the founding fathers of America were slaveholders. They were wrong. The fact that most people believe something doesn't make it right. No matter how eminent they are on one field, may not make them eminent in other fields. Two, the faith-based propositions, well, okay, the universe is rational. Well, that's something we call it. The universe just is the way it is. The fact that we can try to understand some of it through the particular ways that our brains work, to the extent that we're rational, which most of the time we're not, but the fact that we can impose upon it some form of rationality doesn't say anything about the universe. It just says something about the way we think, which sometimes is rational, most of the time isn't rational. The universe is lawful, or rationality is mirrored in our minds. No, most of the universe, in fact, is counterintuitive. This is why we use metaphors in science. The atom is like the solar system, where the sun is like the nucleus of the atom, and the planets are like the electrons that go around the nucleus of the atom. No, actually, it isn't like that at all. But as a first approximation to get our minds around such a counterintuitive idea, because it isn't mirrored in our minds. Most of what we know about nature, the universe, and so on, is not at all mirrored in our mind. Our minds can't make heads or tails of it because of the way our brains were evolved to see things as a certain size, say between ants and mountain ranges, things smaller like atoms, molecules, germs, larger galaxies, universes, stars and planets, and so on. Those are not we're not well equipped to understand those things. So once again, I return to what I loosely call Shermer's last law, because I don't believe in naming laws after yourself, so, which is that any sufficiently advanced extraterrestrial intelligence is indistinguishable from God. Let's say that we do encounter an extraterrestrial, whatever it's going to be like. By the way, it won't be a bipedal primate that looks like us, except it has gnarly stuff on its forehead and speaks English with an Indian accent. That's not going to be what ET is like. That's based on the restrictions of television wardrobe budgets and actors' unions that require you use actors and not aliens. Anyway, so, of the other kind, I mean. Anyway, so whatever they're going to be like, they're going to be so far advanced from us. The chances of them being like just slightly ahead of us, like they think, you know, they landed in Roswell and gave us transistors. Whoa, just barely ahead of vacuum tubes. Wow, they're just barely ahead of us. No, they'll be tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or even millions of years ahead of us technologically. Look what we can do with genetic engineering, stem cells and stuff already with just 50 years of science. How about 50,000 years? Be able to create cells, create life, create planets and stars, perhaps even in the most speculative science fiction at the moment, but possibly, if you can cause a star to collapse into a black hole, and if, according to Stephen Hawking, black holes create new universes out of the infinite point of singularity that the black hole collapses into, if you could trigger that, you'd essentially be a universe creator. If you were an alien capable of doing that, what would be the difference between that and what we call God? That's what I call Shermer's last law, indistinguishable. So those kinds of arguments, again, they get you nothing. They don't get you the answer of a supernatural deity. Last 2 points, the fine-tunedness, almost as if there was a conspiracy to produce us. No, the universe is not finely tuned for us. We're finely tuned for it. And not it anyway, just one particular place we're finely tuned to live here. 99.9% of the universe is completely inhospitable. You can't live anywhere except a few places. Well, so far, just the one we found. But and in any case, our our ignorance is considerable about why the universe is structured as it is. Why assume that we know everything we need to know now so we can go ahead and conclude that we have no final answer? I think humility in the face of the unknown is always wise. Thank you.